I'm just waiting for few minutes. If you have any question regarding the first session, please go ahead. We have a couple of minutes free till others can join us. Okay, we have 2 minutes and then I will start. Maybe some other people will join us. If you have any question regarding the topics that we have covered in our first session today, please go ahead. You can type in the chat window. It's provided in the GoToMeeting session. Okay, well, let's start. Okay, we were in the first session. We are talking about the rich UI handler. We've seen how to create a rich UI handler and what are the different parts of rich UI handler, and with the rich UI handler, how what we can achieve and how we can create a page, and what are the different properties that we can use in the rich UI handler, and how we can create different variables, widgets, and functions. Later we will go in more detail of all these topics. We will be learning about how to create, how to use different widgets, how we can write custom functions, and how we can apply our custom. Let me mute. Yes. I think it's better now. Okay. Generatable parts. Actually, in EGL language, we normally generate different stuff. Like for example, using EGL, we can generate Java, we can generate COBOL, we can generate JavaScript. And there are the properties file inside the project where we specify, okay, I would like to generate Java. Where we specify, okay, I would like to generate a COBOL code against so-and-so libraries. I will show you those parameters in the property file within our project where we specify these settings to generate a Java or JavaScript or COBOL. Now, here on this slide, we are trying to understand when we are going to declare handlers, services, rich UI, like handlers and data types or records. Then when we generate the project, then EGL generate corresponding files and corresponding libraries against each of all these items. There's a bit more detail on all these stuff, like when you create a service, how it is converted into Java code. You can get more detail from the IBM Info Center. Okay. Now, if you have any question regarding the topics that we have covered so far, so from this slide we are moving to a different topic. I think I have not shared my desktop. Thanks for reminding me. Sometimes, okay. I hope now you can see my desktop. Okay. So previous this slide, we were here on the rich UI handler. We learned about the rich UI handler, how it works, in what we can do inside the rich UI handler. Then how EGL generate different steps. For example, from EGL to Java, JavaScript, and when we declare a data item or record or a service, then how it interpret and how it generates a corresponding file. So if you like to go in more detail, you can go on the IBM Info Center, and there's a bit more detailed description of all these things, how each of the values or the functions, libraries, they are converted into corresponding Java code or the COBOL code. So now we are moving forward to learning about the expressions and operators, how we can create a logical expressions, how we can manipulate with different values or variables, and how we can control the flow of our application. Now we learned about creating variables. Now we would like to know how we can initialize variables. First is a simple way that we've seen earlier, that we declare a variable on the left side, and using the equal sign we specify some value on the right side. Okay, this is a very similar case and we see in many languages. Now the second way to either initialize or set particular value inside of a specific variable is using this, like either set. Set is a reserved keyword in EGL where we specify, okay, I have declared a record type and I want to initialize all values that are within the record to be reinitialized to the default value. For example, date will be reinitialized to the current date time value, and your Boolean values will be reinitialized to false. So in this way, using the set reserve word, we can reinitialize our record. Same way, if we have some values inside of our record and we want to get rid of all those values with a single line, we can use this set empty, these two reserve word, and it will just remove all values from the record, rather than we can manually remove each and every field within the record. So this is a shortcut and short way to do the same thing. And same way, when we are dealing with EGL to COBOL generation or code calling, then we use the move statements. For example, we want to move a value from one field to another field, and then we use move keyword. Or maybe there are some cases, for example, we have a record and within the record we have a last name, and I want to only transfer last name from my record to another record inside of another property. So I can only transfer a particular field within the record to another variable. It can be either your record or a normal variable. The type should be same, like a string to string and some like a int to int. Now we are here seeing a set value blocks. For example, maybe if you remember when we seen the rich UI handler, how we had declared rich UI handler, within the curly braces we had set certain properties for that particular rich UI handler. Same way, when we are creating widgets or component on our page, then using these set value blocks, we use their properties and we assign them certain values. For example, what will be the name of this field, what will be the width of this particular field, and what will be the children, I mean the values that will be inside of your widget. For example, you have created a widget that is a container, and you want to put some other widgets inside of that container widget. So using the children property, you will specify other widgets inside of your container widget. Here on this slide, we have example of UI box. In the UI box, we are saying, okay, I want a single column, so all widgets, the children values, should come on a single column. And then we are specifying a children property. Okay, we are saying, okay, this UI box that I am going to create, it should hold these widgets. The new HTML widget, where we are specifying a simple text or any HTML valid syntax that we want to render inside of this widget. And again, we are specifying a second children, that is a new box. And again, this children can contain some other children. So it can be a hierarchy, a different level of children, and you want to in this way you can align your page, you can design your page, you can categorize your stuff. Like header and the body part. In the body part, you have two major columns, and in one column you want to put your contents, in another column you want to put images and some other stuff. So in this way you can create a main container, and within the container you will create sub containers, and within the sub containers you will either directly use your widgets or components. So in this way we design our UI pages, the rich UI handler. We will see how we use these set value blocks in the coming sessions. Same way, we have some mathematical operators available like plus sign, minus sign, percentage, and some other. They have the similar adding values and divisions and other things. I'm just skipping just to save the time so that we can utilize our time on labs. This is very interesting field. Here we have a costing sort of variable reserve word available, that is AS. For example, you have a numeric value, integer value, and you want to concatenate with a string variable. So using this AS variable, you will cast your numeric value into a string, and then you will concatenate with another string. Here we have examples given. Here we can directly concatenate fields, and here we can use the AS operator here. Or maybe if I reverse this, for example, I have a string field, and definitely I cannot directly add a string field into integer field. So using the AS sign, I can say, okay, now convert this, cast this string field into integer, and then add into this numeric field. So the runtime will first cast this string field into integer value, and then it will add in this number field, and then the result will be saved into this number field out. So it would be clear. Now we have we can call as a functions available. For example, we want to get a substring within a string field. For example, I have a bunch of characters, and I want to get like 3 to 7 characters. So using this syntax, like this indexes, I can get those particular characters. We first specify our string field, and then we specify the start starting position of that particular byte or character, and up to how many characters I want to get. Then up to date date position of your string variables. So it will be your start and end positions. Like from 7 to 9, all 3 characters will be taken out from this field. If you see here, we are taking 1 to 2 fields, and then we are checking in a if condition, either the value that is taken out from this field is greater than 50, then do this this work, otherwise do this job. There are some other functions or libraries that we will see later on, like there are a couple of functions in the string library that help us to work on string values, like finding the length of characters within a string variable, and to convert all your characters into uppercase or lowercase, and some other necessary jobs that are declared in the custom libraries that we will see after I think few slides. Same way we can use mathematical shortcut operators. If you see here at the bottom, this is a similar to this example. So it should be easy. Same way we can use conditional or looping statement. In EGL we have if-else statement. We can use case statement. We can use try on exception blocks, and for the looping purpose we can use for loop, for each loop, and while loops. And we can use a navigational jump statement like continue statement, exit statement, or return keyword. So using these keywords we can navigate or jump from one statement to another, or from within the loops. And of course we can combine if-else statement into multiple block of if-else statement. For example, you have top level if-else statement, and within the if you have another if-else statement. And again within the second level if-else statement you can declare your third level of if-else condition. So these are called as like compound if-else statements. And try and exception is used for when, for example, you expect certain unexpected behavior within your application. For example, maybe due to some value return, the variable may be divided by 0, or there is a network issue and database connection can go down. So you will put your that particular code within the try and exception block. I will show you how we can use the try and exception blocks and how we can write our code here. Same way we have some other reserved words available, like in, for example, we have array of values, and especially array of SQL records that we have just fetched from the DB, and rather than looping through the all SQL records that we have got from the DB, we can use the in statement. So it will be a shortcut in place of looping statement. So it will quickly search your array variable and it will find the corresponding value. Same way we can use the like reserved word for using like wildcards in your SQL to find out a certain pattern of strings within your values. And same way matches is the same thing, but more capable than the like. The last we have like if or if not, numeric or blank or Boolean. In this way we can, for example, in the if condition, if statement, I want to see, okay, if my field is not numeric, then do this job. If this field is not blank, then do this job. So in this way, we can use these statements. Here we have examples given on the compound or conditional if-else statement. Like we have a top level if statement, and then within the else part, we have another if-else block. Again, the same example given here. Now, in place of if-else statement, we can use the case condition. For example, we want to do a particular job when the criteria match with more than one conditions. For example, when the value is equal to 1, 2, 3, then do this job. When value is equal to 4, 5, 6, then do this job. So we can use the case statement blocks. In condition, in operator, same as I just explained that if I have a SQL record, and rather than I use a for loop or while loop, and I manually go through all of the records within the array, finding out a particular value, I can use in reservoir, and it will automatically do the same job for me. It will go all records one by one, and it will search for the particular values. We will see these all examples later on when we will be doing database demos. We have like, match, reservoirs. If you see here, we have examples given at the bottom. For example, I want to check, for example, if there is match of these characters within this field, then do this job. Or my fields only contain 0 to 9, only the numbers, then do this job. So in this way, either you can write your if-else conditional blocks, or you can do some other conditions, and then you can execute your queries in some. I'm not going in much detail. Maybe you would be expecting these details. I'm just trying to save a time so that we can. If you have any question, please go ahead regarding these few new reserve words. Okay, same way we have is or is a reserve words through which we can test for certain conditions, like if my field, if this field is not number. For example, I'm not sure this field is integer, or this field is Boolean, or this field is string, or this variable holds string value, or this variable holds integer value. Then in those cases I can use, okay, if my field is numeric, or if my field is not number or is not blank, then I can execute the corresponding statement or SQL statement. Same way is going to this reserve word is just checking the type of your variables at the runtime. For example, within the your variable, you are not sure, okay, which type it's holding currently. For example, maybe your variable is holding a Java class reference, and next time it's holding another Java object reference. So in this way you can say, okay, my field is holding object class reference, and this time it's holding swing class reference or some other one. So in this way you can make sure, and then you can go on and do the right job. Okay, here we have for loop example given here. This is a syntax, like you will you use your for reserved word, and then you will initialize for loop. We have declared I is looping variable, and then is starting from 1 to up to how many times, like 100 or 50. Here we are saying, okay, up to the size of this orders array. And by reserved word denotes that, okay, the loop will be incremented by 1 or by 2 or 3, whatever it is. Same way we have while statement. We will execute a couple of lines until this condition is true. And the continue statement, that's a jumping statement. We will say, okay, if I is less than 5, then continue. Then there is no need to go and execute the immediate statement. Just continue the loop. Same way we can use the exit statement, and we say, okay, if sum is greater than 1000, then exit from the for loop. There's no need to do. There's no need to execute the remaining lines within the for loop block or the while loop block. Same way we have return statements. For example, we have declared a function, and we want to use date function within our application, maybe in our library or handler or maybe service, and we want to transfer certain values from within the function into my code. So when we will call the function, it will return the values from it. In this way, we can pass the result of the execution within this function to the place where we are calling this function. Okay, runtime exceptions. Now, as we talked about the try-catch block, now in cases, for example, when we are calling a web service, we are calling a database, or maybe we are calling a Java code or COBOL code, and sometimes maybe the expected behavior is not going to happen, or there is a network failure, or the Java runtime is not available, or the Java correct library is not there, or maybe the COBOL code, COBOL libraries, they are not there. So there are the cases where exceptions can come. So in the EGL, we will use try-catch block, and we will put all those lines that we are not sure either they will generate, they will fail, when they will be executed. If you see here, we are putting the call program 1 within the try on exception block. We started with a try reserved word, and then we written down all our lines that we expect they may be going to generate some exception. And then we closed it with on exception reserved word, and within the bracket we have created a variable as any exception, and then we are using a library like syslib.write standard out, and then exception that variable name dot message. So, and then we are closing with end reserved word. So for example, in case there is an exception, so this any exception, for example, any category of exception, this will be automatically handled. In the syslib.write standard out, it will print out the exception message on the console of your application. I will show you how we can do this thing. So here we have a couple of examples that like just to give you an idea that okay, these are the cases where such type of exception can occur. Maybe SQL exceptions or file input output exceptions or Java object exceptions or session exceptions or array index out of bound exceptions. Again, we can create our own custom exception categories. For example, I would like to create my own exception type. For example, ABC exception, and I want to use date exception within my code just to understand, okay, which part of my code is generating or causing this problem. So we can create our own exceptions, and even we can throw our exception to another part. So the part that is calling that particular line, that part has the responsibility to put it within the try exception block, so that it can handle my exception. Now, any question regarding try exception block or operators or exceptions or looping statement, conditional statement? Now we are going to learn about the built-in libraries that are available from the runtime. For example, we have date time lib function, a library available through which we can work with date or time fields. We can add values. We can get current date, time stamp. We can find out a particular day or month from a date field. Same way we have strlib, string lib function library available through which we can manipulate the string variables. For example, I want to change the format of my string variable from lowercase to uppercase. I want to know how many characters are within this variable, how many characters it contains, or I can get certain values from it, and I can like format into date format, I can format into number or times, and then we will specify their formatting style. On the right side, we have a few examples given here. The same way we have mathlib available through which we want to, if we like to do some mathematical related operations like to find out the minimum value, the maximum value, to round a certain fields, or to get a floor of a value or ceiling or epsilon or sine or cosine field. Now we have a service lib functions available through which this library helps us to convert certain values from one format to another format. For example, you have a string and you want to convert into a JSON format. So it will convert your string into JSON format, or from JSON to a string format. And there are some generic system libraries available. For example, you want to, just as we seen, to print out a message on the console, we written syslib.std print out, and within the bracket we written a message that will be printed on the console of application. Same way we can use a syslib to, for example, to commit a database transaction, or we can set error message, or we can find the size of an array variable, and there are some other libraries here. The functions that are declared within this library. This is a general purpose library. It is used for general interaction within your application. Same way we have for VGen, Visual Edge Generation library related functions. For example, when we have generated a code from VGen to EGL, and then we want to compare their bytes, or we want to find out the byte size, or concatenate their bytes, or compare certain values, then we can use this this built-in library VG lib library and the corresponding functions that are inside of this library, and we can achieve our task. Same way when we are creating Java application from the EGL code, then to maintain a session or interaction with outside of application, we need a library through which we can manipulate with the Java code. Or for example, we have generated code from EGL to Java, and definitely we want to maintain the sessions. We want to listen for the request and the parameters and the header values. So using this library, I can do all these things. Again, we have sys variable, same through which these are the couple of variables through which we can do some useful manipulation within our application. For example, we have good example given here. For example, sys.array index. So it will find, it will say, okay, what is the maximum size of this array? Take the index of date's last variable within this city state array. So it will take out the last value from this array. Again, there are a couple of libraries defined within this this library, and you can easily find the details on the info center, IBM info center, and you can easily see, okay, which library contain which functions and what is and there is also an example given here there, so that you can know, okay, how I can use a particular library, what are the parameters, and what is the return value. So here we have some few examples given here. Like for example, I created a datetime variable, and I want to add a particular, like, only years or months or days into a datetime or date variable. For example, I have a date, and it has today's date, and I want to only add 2 months, not the years or days, only 2 months. So I can use this interval. This is another interval type, I mean data type, through which within the bracket you will specify, okay, I want to create an interval of type month or type year, and I want to assign 09. So it will be your 9 months. So when you will add this interval into your date variable, then date variable month will be added with 9. So it will just add the month. Here we have some other examples given here. We have like date in, and we are adding 90 days into this variable, and then it will hold the corresponding result again in the same variable. We have declared an interval of 3 months, and then we are adding this interval into the date, and then we do some rest of the things. Same way you can add or you can delete using the interval reservoir or data type. To find out more details, you can see on the info center, like how they are being used and what is the syntax. And again, to create your date value in a particular format or time in a particular, you can use this syntax. For example, we have declared a timestamp variable, and within the bracket we have specified this YYYMMTT, and then this. So this will corresponding to this one, and then it will print this result. Same way, if you like to create your date in a YY and MMDD format, then you can declare your date variable. So the value that you will assign to it, it will be in this format. The same way on the top, we have few examples given here. For example, if I specify this format, then date will or time will be in this format. If I specify this format, then the result will be in this format. And again, there are some options available through which we can create our own formats or generic formats. Here we have examples given here. Again, if you see here, here we have declared a date variable, and then using the datetime library, using its function date value, we are converting this string value into date variable. So it will automatically convert a string into date. And this date variable will hold the date value in this format, in the US format. Okay, let's go back to, I think our next slide is Rich UI basics. So I would like to, rather than going through the slide, it's just about the Rich UI basics, how you can create your Rich UI handlers, and how you can create your widgets, how you can bind on the page, and how you can write your custom function. I would like to go in directly doing the code, creating functions, so that in this way we can best utilize our time. If you have any question, please go ahead. You can type in the chat window provided in the GoToMeeting. Okay, in the first session, I had created this, and I'm just closing this one. Now let me create a new handler. Again, select your package, right click, Rich UI handler. Give it any name, just finish. Okay, again, this is design view and this is a source view. If you see, this is a by default generated code. Okay, if you see this highlighted part, this is your set value block. We are setting particular or some special fields of this Rich UI handler. Same way we have this set value block here for grid layout. Like we have specified, okay, column 3, row 4, cell padding 4, and children is currently nothing. Actually, this grid layout is this layout. If you see on my screen, if you see this this grid or maybe HTML table, if you take in the HTML table. So here we have what we have. We have like 1, 2, 3, 3 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 lines. If you see here, we say okay, 3 columns, 4 rows. I can say okay, make it 4 rows and 4 columns and 10 rows. I just make the change, save it, click design. If you see 4 columns and 10 rows. So in this way, like this is you can consider this grid layout as your container. Now within the children, I have to put some fields here. Either you can go here in the design, you can select okay, you can select any fields here. Okay, at the top we have Rich UI widgets components that are available, and at the bottom we have dojo related widgets that we can use in our rich UI handler. I have like buttons, calendars, color palette, currency, text fields, grids, hyperlinks, images, menus, and so many other fields, and tree components, and we have like visualization related widgets through which we can create visual image of our application or visualization of our data. I can minimize this. Okay. Let me. Okay, so we have this text label. This will be your label as a label. Now I'm selected here. If you see on my screen, when I have placed my mouse cursor on any cell of this grid layout, it's been highlighted as in color green. So this component is going to be dropped in this particular cell. Okay. Now I'm putting this here. Let's say, okay, now what will be the variable name for this widget? I can say, okay, text field 1. If you see, this is a text field. Let me first show you the source code here. If you see here, only this line has been generated for us. This is by automatically generated by the ID, and this is our field name, and its type is text label, and again some other properties, set value block properties. Like we are saying, okay, layout will be the grid layout with row number 2 and column 1. So it will, this widget will be placed at this location within the grid layout, and it by default the text that will be displayed on the page will be this one, like text label. I can make it okay, hello world. If I click on preview, I can save. I can even click on the design, it will show the hello world. Even if I click on the preview, it will execute your application and will show hello world. I'll just change here. So now the second way to change these properties graphically, maybe sometimes we don't remember, okay, what are the properties for this particular widget, how I can know them, how I can change them. So one way is to go in the design view, select your object or widget, and we have a properties view here. If you select your widget, if you see at the bottom, if you don't find this here, the properties here, you can go in the view menu, okay, and then show view, and you should find it here. Otherwise, click on excuse me. You can click on other, and then you can type in like properties, and then you can select OK. So it will come here. Then you select your widget, and if you see, the name has been selected here, and it says the by default text will be this one. What will be the color? I can select, okay, any color I want to like this label to be in that particular color. If you see, the color has been changed. I can specify font size. Font size, okay. I can say font weight is bold, normal. I can specify the class and ID for this field, and I can specify the border line, border width, spacing, position, width and height, and there are a couple of other properties. Same way, in the events, I can write down my events. Okay, we will create these events for the buttons. Let me first create these fields. Okay, let me quickly make it black. Okay, change the label as value 1. Okay, and I will select, I just minimize this one. I'm going to select the text field. Okay, you can say text field 1. Okay, and you can say let me take sorry, click on here. To text field and then I can print the result. Either for the result display, you can either use your label or you can use the field. It's up to you. I'm using this label as a the result. Okay, now let me quickly make it a bit more better. Alright. Let's make it second field. It's value 2. I don't need this one. I just remove this one. Just make it bold. We can give it any color. Okay. Now I need a button. Okay. Now if you select button, again from the properties, 8. Okay, just click here. If I click on preview, if you can see here, this is by default done. If I click on 8, there is nothing happening because I have not specified any event. So let me let's make this normal. Okay. Now select your 8 button, go in the events. Now there are a couple of events available. So I would like this on click. If you click on this, if you select this on click, then there a plus sign will appear here. Click on plus sign. Then you have to either give your own name for this function, the event function that will be executed when you click on this button. So I will say my button event function on click. I'll give it my button on click, let's say. Okay, now let's go back in the code. Now if you see, we used different widgets, so it created different widgets with all values, all properties that we set graphically. Like if you can see value 1 and its color is black, font size 12 and weight is normal, and then text field 2 and its position is this one, and we have text label 2, and then as a result we have this one, that is a text label, and it's a bold and in with this color. And then we have a field as a dojo button and some other properties here. Its label is text is 8, so its label that is displayed on the page will be 8. And here we have specified an on-click property within this dojo button, and using these 2 colon marks and equal sign, we are giving a function name that is the event handler function that should be called when this on-click function is function has happened, when this function is occurred, or when user clicked on the button. So, excuse me one. Okay, so when you click on this button, then this function will be executed, and this function is declared here within your handler file. And it's taking one parameter, that type is event. This is variable name, and then event type is event, and then in is a this is another reserved word. This says, okay, this event is going, this event variable is going to be assigned inside of this function. So you may see these, there's in and out, and in-out reserved word that we normally use in the functions. We will see maybe in other classes, maybe in the DB class, where we need this one in, out, or out reserved word that we use in functions. Now what I want to do, I want to add the values, value 1 and value 2, and then print the result. So I will take this, this is my text field 1, first my result, this is result label, keep it here. Now I selected this name. Now if you press dot, okay, then this context help will appear. If it doesn't appear, then you have to press Control and space button from your keyboard. Now here, these are the all properties that are applicable on this widget, this component. That is my label component, result label. So I will go and I will search for a text label, and then I will say equal, because I want to assign this text label a certain value, and that value will be this text field. This is my text field, and again click dot and then search for the text field, or you can directly type TE, then it will highlight the field. Now using the as parameter, as reserved word, I can, because this is by default in a text format, in a string format, I want to convert into int plus my text field 2 dot text is int, and then semicolon. This will be your line terminator. If you remove this line terminator, then if you see the error mark, error will appear, this red mark will appear, and if you hover on this this red sign, then the tool, RBD tool, will highlight the error. Here in our case it's saying, okay, syntax error, semicolon expected before this token. So I will put here, I see, oh, I have missed my semicolon here. So I put a semicolon here and it's gone. Now just save. Let's click on the preview. If you click 1, 2, and 3 and plus, I click plus, and then result is 15. Okay, so now let's do one more thing. Okay, let me create another. We are already near to our end of time. Just example. Sorry. Example. Now we will create few fields. I will tell you how you can quickly design your page. For example, I have declared a name. Okay. First you will write your variable name and then its type, like a string. Okay. And then I will say, okay, ID is int. Okay, and X is Boolean. Okay, I save the file. Now I will go in the design view. It's clean, there is nothing. Now you select this EGL data view. If you are unable to find this one, then make sure you have selected the EGL perspective on the right top side, and then from the Windows menu, and then EGL data, this perspective, or from others you can search. Now from here, if you see, we declared 3 fields inside the handler, and when I went in the design view, I can see all these fields listed here in the EGL data view. I can select this one and drop it here. Let's see what's happening here. Now we have a pop-up here, and it's saying, okay, when if you are dropping this field on this page, okay, which type of field you want to create? A GUI component, a widget against this field. This widget will be bind with this variable, either a read-only field or editable field. I say, okay, I need an editable field, and its label will be name. I can make it like, okay, name is this one, and its type is, of course, is string. And from here, the widget type, I can change the widget type elsewhere. Right now, I need, okay, text field only. We want to see just here, finish. Now, if you see, it has by default created this widget for you. Now, for integer, I just dropped it here. Against which field you want to like, read only or this one. I say, okay, read only. I need read only. I want to see how read only looks like. So this is read only. Now I'm checking this Boolean field here. I need only editable field. So by default, it has selected this Dojo checkbox. I can make it combo or Dojo combo box or checkbox. So this by default this. Okay. By default this. Now click on the preview. Now we have done nothing. We just declared the fields, and from the data view, we designed our page. And this small alignment is because we have placed within the within sales and name. Name string is greater. It has 4 characters, and ID has 3 characters. That's why there is a small alignment that we can fix with the help of CSS, or we can select the sale, and then from the properties we can specify the width of this particular sale or the label or anything else. So in this way we can quickly design our pages. Now let me show you a few examples. Here. Just to give you an idea how you can design your pages. This is by default a simple gallery provided, just to give you an idea how you can design your page. If you see, this is our preview part, and we have different components here. Okay, if I click on the EGL data view, we have only a string field here. click on the outline view. In the outline view, as I explained, this gives you a hierarchical overview of your code within the file. Okay, so if we see, we have a top level box widget. If you see, this has been selected with this blue color, and within the top level box we have this top title, this one, and then we have another box, a container box is being treated as a container, like grid layout. So within the box we have another box, that is this parent one, and then within this one we have another box that will hold our contents, and then we have another navigation fields and components. Now let's go in the source. Here we have handler, different properties set here, and then we have like a content box, the different properties, and then we have main UI box, and its children are the this TOC top container box that is declared here. Okay, and then we have a box is another box that contains the contents box, that is this one. This one box. So in this way they have designed. We have designed this page. Now clicking on the preview, it will execute our application within this tool. Actually, there is a embedded browser component in this ID that is executing, that is running our rich UI code. And by the way, when we are using the rich UI code, it's generating JavaScript and HTML. So we all only need is only a browser where we can execute our this rich UI page. Currently, there is no need for a Tomcat or application server or WAS server to run the applications. We can execute, we can run in the browser. Now, if I click Hello World, I can see there are different events, everything select videos. Same way the events they have used the same way in Dropbox here. These are the different widgets. If you see, it's only changing this middle component. Sorry. If you see, it's only changing the middle component. Now, if we see this validation, let me show you the example of this validation, and I will give you an idea of like how they are being used here. Now, if you now in the validation, what we have specified here, if username is less than 6 characters, then it will automatically display this message. And if password is not given, then of course it should give this error message. Now, how they have created a data item, and within the data item, they have specified these rules, these conditions. Okay, let me show you. If you here see here, for example, if they have given this is a record, and they have specified different properties. For example, this one is okay. If you see, this is a data item, okay, and its type is a string, and they have specified different different properties. I think this one is not right one. Let me. Okay. I think I better create a simple record. Okay. Data item. Now, by pressing Control in space, I would like to see the properties or data I can use on this item. Like I can use the display name property. By default display name, this is default label. Required. Yes. Okay, just save it. Now I will create a variable, any name, give it any name, and just I will specify its type is my custom data item. Let's say this one, my custom data item semicolon. Okay. Now I have created my custom data item, and I have specified, I have used certain properties that are by default available. You can press Control space, and then you can see available list of available properties that you can use on this particular data item, like value and valid values or the valid functions, uppercase, and other things. Now, then I created a variable in my handler. Now go back in the design view. Again, go in the data view, select this field, drop it here. Then this wizard will come. Click editable, go to text field. If you see, this is a by default label that we have specified there. Click preview. I'm sorry. Now I click here and clicked outside. If you see, I entered nothing and then click outside, then it gave me this by default this one, because I have marked this field is a required. If you see again, let's see again what I said, this field is required. So it will automatically check, okay, either user has entered some value or not. I can use another Control space bar, and then I can see, okay, even you can specify display format or display use, like display use, which will be the display use. Which will be your display use? Either it will be the secret or anything. If I select secret, okay, click on the preview. If I type, Okay, I think I have to use. Okay, so anyway, in this way you can specify your different properties, and you can work on these. You can design your pages. I will see why secret is not working here. Okay, I think this is good for today's class. And if you have any questions so far before we finish our class. Okay, I have a question here in the chat window. There are a lot of spaces to the EGL language. Is there a language reference available? Yes, there is a language reference available, and I will forward to you this one. And even if you can find it on the EGL forum. Just type in EGL reference guide. Then a PDF should be there, which you can download, and I will try to find it out, and I will forward you the link. Any other questions regarding the topics that we have covered? Okay, I think there's no questions so far. So I would like to request you try to do all these labs what we have done so far, so that you should be pretty easy to understand the next classes, when we will be trying to do advanced topics like calling database, web services, debugging our project, and using different widgets, advanced widgets, and how we can generate and deploy our application. If you have any questions, please either you can send me via email, or you can ask me tomorrow, and I will try to help you out on that one. Okay, thank you very much for your time. We will meet tomorrow at the same time, 9 CST and 11 CST, and I will send you a note what we have covered today, the topics that we have covered, and what we are going to achieve tomorrow. Okay, thank you very much. Take care. Bye.